she said.
That's the original farmhouse. It was built in 1863 by a man named Judson Sherman, who was married to a woman named Bathsheba. Ed, she's related to Marytown Esty. She's one of the women accused of witchcraft in Salem. She was hung during the trials.
Wow.
So after Bathsheba married Judson, they had a baby. And when the baby was 7 days old, Judson caught her sacrificing it in front of the fireplace. She ran out to that tree by the dock, climbed up, proclaimed her love to Satan, cursed anyone who tried to take her land, and hung herself. Time of death was pronounced at 3:07 in the morning.
Well, that explains a few things.
Yeah, so does this. Her last name's Walker. She lived there in the 30s. She had a boy named Rory who mysteriously disappeared in the woods. Then she killed herself in the cellar.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Hello, thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good. This is episode
478.
268, and tonight we're talking about The Conjuring.
You conjure this.
The Conjuring, the 2013 horror flick, The Conjuring. And did it scare me? We'll talk about that in a second. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew. Never go into a hidden basement, Jimison.
Well, I reckon I try to stay out of basements as much as I can. That's where they keep the steels, where we make the shine.
You mean the
Y'all
Shining?
seen the movie The Shining?
Yeah, that's what
I
it's
got
about.
the shining in my basement, if you know what I mean.
That's what it's about, right? It's about moonshine, because it doesn't make sense for it to be about anything else.
I don't know why I'm speaking like my relatives. But,
I think it's
hey,
great.
guys.
Hey,
Oh, anyway, okay, great. You done?
I'm done.
Great. And Sam, you can't shoot
Yes.
ghosts with guns vector.
no, but they can shoot you apparently.
Yes, they can shoot you.
And I knew you were going to try to do that on me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide a noose in the closet, and then have it have you fall through the floor, and then get tangled in it, and then hang yourself in the basement.
No.
Yeah, I thought that's what was going to happen.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a wasted moment.
I guess it was still, yeah. All right. So let's pull up a comfy chair and dive into this movie, The Conjuring. So this is on our episode 2 of our, I'm coining the phrase Cheapseat-oween. I've seen other people do it. I figured I might as well, right? I should just dive feet first into the bad wordplay.
Nice.
Speaking of bad wordplay, you know what I realized after 268 episodes? I just realized something. And it wasn't that I just realized it. It was brought to my attention. We don't have a nickname for our listeners, the people that follow the show.
Oh, really?
Other than fools,
Then Stanley.
suckers. I don't know. But like, no, I'm kidding. You know, like, are they cheap seaters? Are they CSRers? Like we have to come up with something so that we can, so that they're part of the cheap seats,
Yeah.
or something like that, because so that way when I'm like, hey, I need my cheap seats to send us an email, maybe then they'll know who I'm talking about. So
Maybe that's part of the problem.
yeah, I haven't given you guys a nickname, and that's maybe that's it. So maybe that's what you guys are. You're just known as the cheap seats. Like we're Cheap Seat Reviews, and you guys are with us in the cheap seats. That's something I can think of. If there's a better idea,
Lame.
send us an email. I knew it was going to be lame, but you're the one that came up with the name of the podcast, so I blame you.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Never mind.
All falls back to that. So
Never.
So before today, had any of us seen this movie?
No.
Or before
I had not.
This viewing? Okay. So we're going to do the thing where we do this new thing now where we're going to give our 5-word review of the movie before we get into the movie. So I play this clip now, apparently. Stupid book. I guess that's the clip for it now. Unless I can come up with something better. 5-word review for this movie. I'm going to let Sam go first again because this was his idea. So
okay.
we're going to change things up. Sam gets to go first.
All right. I actually went through a few of these before I came up with one I think I liked. Still not too happy with it. My first one I came up with is never buy a cheap house.
Okay, yeah.
First of all, but the one that kind of explains a bit more of what I think this movie is Exorcist and Poltergeist movie combo.
Sure.
Is kind of how I feel this movie ended up being because it was quite interesting. I think it had the scare elements of The Exorcist, while the investigators and some of the crazy antics in the house was definitely a lot more like Poltergeist.
All right.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah, mine is pretty straightforward. Finally, an enjoyable horror movie.
Right?
Okay.
That's my review.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
So the first one that I wrote was it immediately came to my brain, but this is only going to be funny if you've seen the movie A League of Their Own. Uh-oh. So it's Avoid the Clap, Jimmy Dugan. The clap.
I like it.
That's horrible.
Yeah. The other one that I wrote was Scary House, Feet Under Covers. That's the other one I wrote.
Right?
Oh, gosh.
I watched this with my wife, and she made me promise her that I would not grab her feet that night.
Yeah.
In bed, because I probably would get divorced with that.
She'd probably hit you with something, first of all.
She hit me first, and then she would.
No, I'm saying like with something, like whatever she can reach on the nightstand, like the lamp or the alarm clock or your whatever machine, just smack inside the face. I mean, I would. So yeah, no,
that's not nice.
Well, neither is that. Okay, so we're going to talk about this movie.
Yes.
So Andrew, it's interesting that you said that. Finally, an enjoyable horror film.
Yeah.
The last movie in our series here that was genuinely scary that I actually liked was The Exorcist. I thought that was a really good movie, and it kind of gave me the creeps. This movie did the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, I will admit, I got myself a little psyched out going into it more than the movie was actually scary.
Oh, really?
I got, what I'm saying? Like what I thought was going to happen got me a little bit more than what happened. Now, for me, this movie has a turning point in which my blood pressure calms down, my heart rate kind of calms down, and that's when they do the first night when they're doing kind of the investigation in the house. There's a lot of people there. It's kind of scientific, and I'm like, okay, for some reason at that point, it all just kind of changed for me. But like the haunting of the family before they bring in the investigators, that some of that stuff had me going, like legit had me going. I wear an iWatch, and I actually was looking at my heart rate, and while sitting on a couch in the middle of the afternoon watching this movie had me going at about 98 beats per minute. So
it's not too bad.
It had me going a little bit. I mean, no, it's like a brisk walk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what did you guys? I mean, what about you guys? Like Andrew. I mean, you said you enjoyed it. I mean, did it scare you at all? Like what?
Okay, so I purposely I knew this one was going to be a little bit more intense than, say, Tucker and Dale. So I decided that I was going to watch it after everyone had gone to sleep and the house was quiet in the dark.
Oh.
Like I just turn everything off. And yeah, it was a little freaky, but it was good. Like I enjoyed the suspense, and I enjoyed the, at one time I honestly did turn on the lamp. About halfway through, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna turn a lamp on here. So it kind of freaked me out, and I enjoyed it. I thought about doing the same thing you did. It's odd that you said that about the Apple Watch, because I started to do the same thing and check my blood pressure, but I didn't want to stop watching or take my eyes off the screen because I was afraid I was going to miss something.
Miss something, yeah, something popping up in a freaking mirror or something.
Well, in so many horror movies, the directors always kind of throw things in the background, and The Haunting of Hill House, that happened a whole lot.
Yes.
And so this movie reminded me a lot of that series, and I enjoyed the heck out of that series. And so I kept watching for stuff like that, but I didn't see anything.
All right.
Maybe there was something, but if there was, I missed it.
All right, Sam? Sam?
Hello? Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you say my name.
No worries.
I'm with Andrew. I really, really enjoyed this movie. And I don't like horror movies. I mean, we've all said that. We just don't like that the version. But I think I kind of like these haunting things. You felt for the poor family, and the kids were adorable, and they weren't annoying, which sometimes horror movie kids can be. And nobody really made a stupid decision in this movie in terms of, they didn't flee up the stairs from a murderer, or, they're just a family trying to explore this new house that they just bought. And I will say, I know a movie terrifies me if the fight or flight instinct comes in, and
like to yourself while you're watching.
What's that?
Yeah, like to yourself while watching.
Yeah, while I'm watching, and I either stop watching the movie or I physically try to punch the air, and I did that several times in this movie, and in some of these jump scares, and it totally reeled me in and got me in, and I was still getting jump scares even after the investigators came. So I thought it was very well done. I thought it was it's a rated R movie with no cussing.
Yeah.
And relatively little blood.
Mm-hmm. It was just for the scare factor.
It's rated R because it's so freaking scary.
Yeah.
I mean, 18-year-old kids, they're saying anybody below 18 shouldn't see this thing. So I don't blame them. I don't blame them. In fact, during the movie, and this is a bad parent of me, all of a sudden Lucy started calling from her bedroom. And I'm like, Mommy, Daddy. And we go back there and she goes, are you guys watching a scary movie? I think there's something in the basement in the movie. And we're like, okay, we need to turn it down just a little bit.
Yeah, no kidding.
She was listening to the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
So, I really, really enjoyed this. And this is up there with some of the best horror that I've ever seen. So this is where the genre does well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
How about you, Ope? What you got?
Well, I mean, yeah, I again, like we've already said, I'm not a huge fan of the horror genre. I like dumb, aggressive, over violent horror. Your Tucker and Dales, your Evil Deads, I like the camp. This was not those things. The part that actually got me more was so this movie is like I said, the start of the movie, when the dog won't go in the house, that's when I'm like, oh man.
Right.
If the dog knows there's something going on, then there's something going on, right? And so like once the dog doesn't go in, and then the next morning the wife's got bruises on her and then the dog is dead, I'm like, okay, I normally don't do this. I need to get on IMDb. I need to I need a break for just a second because this movie's already stressing me out, right? And when the first piece of trivia is that this movie is based on, because it says in the opening credits kind of thing that this is based on a true story. I'm like, did he just throw that in there, or is this? And I went in there. This is based on actual events. This is based on the movie's based on the book that was written by the wife of the investigator lady. She wrote the book about this particular haunting, along with all of her other ones, and that this particular one was the one that affected her. It stuck with them the most because in the book, they were unable to help the family.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
in fact, from what I read, the family basically shooed them away when they couldn't help.
Yeah.
Like they did a seance, and apparently it made things worse.
Yeah. And
so,
and then they couldn't get it, and then they basically kicked out the family. So that kind of weirded me out. And then when I found out that this was filmed an hour and a half from where I live, that also kind of weirded me out just a little bit.
Oh, really?
I didn't realize it was Wilmington.
Yeah, they filmed it in Wilmington, and
I love that it was though. That's awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, I should have gone on and looked on the IMDb on the crew list and see if I knew anyone that was on this movie because I still have friends down there. But yeah, this movie kind of got me a little bit. It did get me, but when I was done with the movie, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to know more about them. Like, I kind of want to watch The Conjuring 2 now. You know?
Kimberly and I actually went on YouTube and searched for it. Searched for more to the story because I knew there had to be more to this.
Well, so the Insidious 1 and 2 and Conjuring 1 and 2 and Annabelle are all part of the same story. Mm-hmm. It's all the same.
Is it the Warren files?
Yeah, it's all based on the Warren files. So it's got the same two actors in it and all of those things. So there's one guy I know on the show. It's on the movie so far. But I kind of want to, I don't know, for some reason Insidious kind of already makes me like not want to watch it because it's mostly about a kid, and that kind of freaks me out in movies more than anything, like children for some reason.
Okay.
I know that's weird. But it just does. And
yeah, I haven't seen all the Insidious movies, but I've seen like one or two of them.
Oh, really?
And neither of them are as creepy or as well done as this one.
Interesting.
Well, you think it's because it's the dude what did Saw?
Yeah.
So the director, James Wan, directed Saw.
I'm sorry, what did he win?
Shut up. He, let's see, he directed, nope, wrong one. Let's see, producer, no, I want director. There we go. So he directed Saw, Dead Silence, which I did not see, but that looks terrifying just from the poster. And I want nothing to do with it. Let's see. He did Insidious. So he did Insidious first.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know that. He did Insidious first. So Insidious is a family looks to prevent evil spirits from trapping their comatose child in a realm called the Further. Well, that poster.
And is this like seriously from the Warrens? You know, the Warrens in this movie?
Yeah. Well, no. It can't be because Patrick Wilson is in it, but he's Josh Lambert. He's not
weird.
Warren. But he's in it. Oh, that's weird. All right, so you got that, and so then he does this movie. Director.
And this movie ended up doing really well, if I remember right.
Financially, yeah. And then he does Insidious 2, and then he does The Furious 7, and then The Conjuring 2, and then he directed Aquaman.
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He directed Aquaman. That movie's not good.
What? Aquaman was good.
No, it's not. And then he does Insidious 3, The Dark Realm, and then he's doing something called Malignant, and he's doing
You got to get that checked out, Opie.
an episode called The Magic Order, and then he's doing Aquaman 2. So, all right.
Interesting.
Is the nun part of this series? Is that part of the a priest
not
with a
know.
haunted
I don't think
past
so.
and a novice on the threshold of her final vows are sent by the Vatican to investigate the death of a young nun in Romania and confront another force in the form of a demonic nun. Patrick Wilson is Ed Warren. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Vera Farmiga as Lorraine Warren.
Huh.
Lily, one of the Perrin families in this too.
Lily Tomlin?
Lily Taylor as Carolyn Perrin. It's the mom. It's the
Now,
mom from The Conjuring.
I haven't seen The Nun, but I have heard that it truly is scary. And there's actually this prank channel that I've seen that they will go into like a bathroom or a parking garage, and they'll be dressed
I've
as a
seen
regular
that.
nun.
Yeah, I've seen
And
that
then
too. That's horrible.
Yeah.
And they'll do what? I haven't seen that. What?
They go into the parking lot or a bathroom dressed as a regular nun, and then the nun from the movie will come out after that one or something, and people like freak out and jumping over bathroom stall walls and
I probably
knocking
would
over
too.
people to run away.
Yeah, that sounds nightmarish. He also did Annabelle, or he produced it. He didn't direct it, but Annabelle, which is about the doll specifically. A couple begins to experience terrifying supernatural occurrences involving a vintage doll shortly after their home is invaded by satanic cultists. Though the Warrens aren't in this movie. I'm not gonna lie though, that little short at the beginning about Annabelle, that freaking that got me. Oh my gosh! Like the idea that they invited this spirit into the doll, and then the doll wrote on parchment that said stuff like "Did you miss me?" or something like "miss me" or something, and then there's like crayon written all over the ceiling and stuff. Oh my gosh! Like the fact that she threw it away, I would have burned it. I just
Apparently that doesn't matter.
Oh, that's
right.
Yeah, but I'm saying like that stuff to me, that stuff gets me. Oh, like that was more effective than most of the jump scares in the movie. Like that really bothered me.
Weird.
Yeah, I am. I didn't take many notes because once stuff started really going down, there wasn't much to write about. You know, it's like I think the scene that got me the most chilled was when the sleeping sister is bumping into the
wall,
the wardrobe,
mm-hmm.
and then the older sister takes her to her bed, and then the thing starts, banging, the door starts banging, and then the little sister just sits up, all creepy like, and then starts screaming and looks up, and then there's something on top of the wardrobe. That got me. Like, legit, that freaking got me. Oh, my gosh. I don't even like talking about it.
You know what? I appreciated the fact that this movie had some legitimate jump scares.
Yeah.
That weren't really what I would classify as jump scares, or maybe they didn't try hard to be a jump scare. It just it was felt.
It was it. Yeah.
It happened. It just felt so fluid and natural. And so the one that got me the most was when the pictures fell off the wall and crashed.
Yeah.
That really, I mean, it was just silent. And then you hear I thought it was a gunshot.
Yeah.
And it's what it sounded like. And it literally made me jump.
Yeah. There was so many. I can't really nail down specific ones because all the ones that were meant to scare freaked us out. The rocking chair being thrown at him at the door was just
house,
insane. But just the intensity of the girl being in the room with the rocking chair and not being able to open the door was freaky. So no, I now let me ask you guys this: did you expect the mother to go full on demon?
Yes, but only because we watched the Babadook.
Okay.
because they borrowed something from that. There's a scene in this movie where she's dreaming, and then the demon's above her, and then spits something into her mouth. They used the exact same thing in the Babadook, which came later. And so as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, now she's it's in her.
Yeah,
she allowed it to come into her, for whatever reason. So anyway,
yeah, okay.
Anyway,
I also did appreciate that it didn't have any gratuitous killing. Like,
well, that's true.
No one died in this movie except the people that were already dead. Right?
Yeah, but I think that's not that kind of movie.
Well, when we started the movie, I told Kimberly, I said, this is based on a true story, number one, which tells me the people are going to be okay. Yeah. Right. And we would have thought if it had been a murder house, like, what's the other one where the father axe murders everybody or something like that. If it was like that, we would have heard about it by now. But since I hadn't heard about this story, I figured it was just another haunted house that everybody got out okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So the only thing I told her, I said, I said, the dog's not coming in. I said, dogs generally don't make it in horror movies.
Yeah.
And doggone it, I was right.
Yeah.
I kept expecting either the sheriff deputy or the assistant that was helping the Warrens. I kept expecting one of them to get it at one point, but never happened.
Yeah.
I think to Sam's point, I think that if you have a murder by a ghost happen, I think you're right. Then there's this story becomes a bigger deal than I think than. Yeah, I mean, unless he wants to just really Hollywood it up and make, because again, he has to Hollywood it up some because they're unable to help, and there's some really great trivia, which I'm just going to go ahead and get to some of it right now about the parents themselves. So, the real life parents visited the set location in North Carolina. While on set, they felt a cool wind whip through the set. They also noted that the intense sudden draft did not move or shake any trees. So you get little things like that, which is kind of cool. But I just also like the fact that they
were involved.
Yeah, that they were there and that they're involved. And the real Lorraine Warren and Andrea Perrin served as as consultants to director James Wan and the screenwriters. They both claim the movie is as accurate to the real story of what happened to the parents during the 10 years they lived in the farmhouse. They lived there for 10 years, by the way.
See, that's crazy.
So
it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the movie has to take place over just a couple of hours, and so it kind of makes you feel like from the first haunting to the time that they're exorcised, it's probably only a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they probably lived through 10 years of that. I'm sorry, I probably would have burned the house down and then just claimed insurance.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I totally agree.
After that night when
sorry, as I was watching it, after the first incident with the dog, I would have been like, okay, we're out. Moving. Yeah. Goodbye.
I mean, I get the idea that he's a truck driver, and he's got all of his money tied up to there in the house, and so maybe it's not the dog. Maybe I don't know. But when I come home and my wife is trapped in the basement screaming, my daughters are upstairs fighting with something and screaming. It's like, okay, something's going on. But I mean, eventually, they get to the point where they're having to sleep downstairs on mattresses in the living room, like safety in numbers kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like something's wrong.
Yeah, again, I know it's hard for us to say because that's their house. I get the idea that this is your house, but good gracious! All right. Anyway, I captured no clips from this movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. I captured no clips because I didn't want to go back and watch this movie again to capture clips. And there's not a lot to capture because there's just a lot of screaming and creaking noises and, people clapping. There's not a lot of dialogue. There's a couple of moments that were kind of funny, I guess I could have captured. But and the part that I captured for the intro was about the only part that I thought was interesting that didn't really totally freak me out. And it was still kind of freaky. So there you go. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this real quick.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
Whenever you have a movie like this, there's always a lot of trivia. But because this movie is based on real stuff, most of the trivia I got is because of that. For example, 8 generations of family lived and died in that house before the parents moved in. Andrea parents suggested that some of the spirits from the families never left. Deaths included 2 documented suicides, a poisoning death, the rape and murder of an 11-year-old girl, 2 drownings, and the passing of 4 men who froze to death. Most deaths occurred within the Arnold family from which Bathsheba Sherman was descended.
Yeah, I should have known once they said Bathsheba. Something was wrong with that name.
The real Annabelle doll was actually a used Raggedy Ann doll that was bought by Donna's mother at a hobby shop and was known for not only leaving notes on parchment when there was no parchment around, but also attacked a friend named Lou by mysteriously leaving claw marks on his chest. The makers of the movie decided to make a more sinister-looking doll of porcelain for the movie. The fact that the doll has some realness to it.
It's creepy.
Yeah. Now something.
So I'm trying to figure out the timeline of these movies. Did Annabelle happen before?
Sarah?
I think in the real timeline, yes, but in the movie release, no. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think Annabelle was a sequel, or I'm sorry, prequel to this.
Hey, I need to pause the show for just a second because there's literally things crashing in my house right now. So hold on just a second. There. Literally what it was our Instant Pot fell off a box and the lid crashed into the floor.
Oh, so definitely some ghosts in that house.
Oh my gosh, dude, this is an old house too. That legit scared me. I mean, it got my wife out of the bedroom too. She came running in here trying to figure out what's going on. The production initially scouted a number of farmhouses to shoot in the Cape Fear region of southeastern North Carolina until they found a house featured in the movie. It is located on the Black River in Pender County. They only filmed the exterior of their home. All interior shots were filmed at Screen Gem Studios. I just captured that just because it's North Carolina. I think that's cool. Mm-hmm. Lorraine Warren is the elder woman in the front row of the classroom when Carolyn is listening to the Warrens' presentation.
Okay.
At the end of the movie, Lorraine gets off the phone and tells Ed that the priest wants to discuss a case on Long Island. That case is the Amityville case, which is the basis for the Amityville horror.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's all the trivia. So
that's it? I don't think there'd be more.
There's more, but that's just the stuff that I captured because I already mentioned them being consultant and stuff. So, yeah. So anyway, this movie's creepy. That's all I'm going to say. There was some other stuff about like creepy things happening on set, but there's always stuff like that whenever you have scary movies like this. Like you're just kind of hyper vigilant. Like I'm sure weird stuff happened on the set of Avengers Endgame.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, but like no one cared because it's an action film. You know, like okay, whatever.
Yeah.
That thing did that thing, whatever. Well, it's because it's a light or whatever. But when it's a movie like this, like on The Exorcist, the airplane flying the people from location was struck by lightning 3 times. Okay, you know, like airplanes get hit by lightning and that happens, but like because it's on The Exorcist, it means it's a thing. So. So anyway, that's it. That's our thing. And time for this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Top 3. We decided to do, what do we call it? Paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
And we're using that term very broadly.
Loosely.
Not as a guy who walks in and says, "Hi, I'm a paranormal investigator," and hands you
in that weird deep voice as well.
Yeah, and hands you a business card and whatever. So we're talking about people whose jobs it is to figure out what's going on and remove it or whatever. So, Andrew.
Yeah. So my first one, my third, number 3, I guess I could say.
There you go.
Yeah. Is The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah. Turns out the paranormal investigator is himself a ghost. But, spoiler. But I guess it still fits the mold.
Yeah.
Number 2 is a childhood favorite of mine, and I think I've actually used it before for something that we did. But Daffy Duck's Quackbusters.
Quackbusters, yeah.
I think you've said, you've definitely said that one.
Yeah, you said
before.
that one before, yeah.
Yeah. And then number 1, and I have this show to thank for it, The Frighteners.
There you go.
The
Nice.
Frighteners. Yeah. Agree.
All right.
Absolutely agree.
Okay, Sam.
All right. I've got a number 3, and you're going to have to tell me if I'm okay with this.
Okay.
And my number 3 was Constantine.
Yeah, I'm okay with it because it's on my list too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then I've got number 2 in Poltergeist.
Yeah.
And my number 1 is right there with Andrew, The Frighteners.
Nice.
Heck, a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, the only one that you guys haven't said for me is The Ring.
Yeah.
That was going to be mine if Constantine did not. You wouldn't let me do it. So.
Yeah. I'm surprised, Ope, you didn't say Poultrygeist.
You know, it's funny. When you actually said Poltergeist, I actually was going to make the joke about Poltergeist, but I did not.
Sometimes I get in the mood. I just want to hear that theme song.
I have it. I think I have it, right? Don't I have it?
I know at one point we did.
Do I have... What is this?
Now do it! That's Diddy!
Oh, nope, that's not it.
Hey, what happened?
Nope, that's not it.
Well, at least I'm man enough to have...
Nope, that's not it.
When the American
We're gonna go
Chicken
through.
Bunker, a military-themed fried chicken chain built...
Oh, okay. That was weird. That sounded awful. Here it is. There you go. There you go.
That's the best part of that movie.
It's the only good part of that terrible movie.
Yeah.
Though it did give me that weird noise, which I can't find. Oh, well, whatever. There, never mind. I thought I labeled it. Oh, this. Oh. There, I
am not ready to be a pop-pop.
Oh, okay. Gosh, Juno's dad is fine. Jeez.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a pop-pop right now. Great.
Nice.
Yeah, Constantine's what I have too. So Constantine, The Ring, and The Frighteners. Yeah. So we're all copacetic. So I'm hesitant to play this thing. So I think I mentioned on the show that I believe in those types of things, the ghosts and whatnot, and I've
Christmas
seen
Past.
them too, and I've seen things and heard things. So a friend of mine went to a place called Waverly Hills. Feel free to Google it. I think it's a big insane asylum in Ohio, I think, or somewhere. I can't remember what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And he went there. Waverly Hills. Where is it? Waverly Hills. Kentucky, maybe? Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah. It's the most haunted location on earth, is what they say.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
So he went there with an audio recorder, and he and a couple friends were hanging out, and they recorded some audio. Well, we were chatting. He and I worked together at Charlotte, and we were chatting. I told him, some stuff. And then he told me about this thing, and he said he had an audio clip, and he would like me to listen to it and see if I could kind of tweak the audio a little bit. So I have it. Do you want to hear 18 seconds of what we think is someone that's not actually in the room?
Yes.
All
sure.
Right, here we go. So you're going to hear, obviously it's a lot of static because it's a thing, and you're going to hear some people talking English, and then there's going to be a little bit of Spanish. And the Spanish is what is not from person that's in there. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
The little whisper there? That's not being said by anyone that's in the room. Because he put the recorder down, right? So like,
Sorry.
no, it's fine. So like he can. And I'm going on faith that this guy told me the truth, right?
Gato en los pantalones.
Oh my gosh, there's a cat in your pants, jeez.
Sorry.
But yeah, he put the recorder down, right? So like you can hear them; they're all kind of shuffling off there, some distance away, and then this is whispered right into the recorder, so you can hear that they're kind of. So there's that, and then whatever that is. So we never really could figure out what it said, but that's the best I can make out of it. I'm not NCIS or CSI where I can just isolate one thing and then make it work.
Wait. That's how it works, though.
I guess. So anyway, I just thought you'd enjoy that little thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Have you had anybody that speaks that language listen to it and interpret?
No. If you listen to the show and you think you know what that person's saying, I'd love to know it. We listened to that thing about 30 times and we couldn't really ever figure out what they're saying. So,
¿Dónde está el baño?
yeah, maybe that's what they are. It's just people they're just looking for the bathroom. That's all they're supposed to.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
Well, this is where we're going to give our out of 10 and not talk about ghosts anymore. I'm not gonna lie. I that clip still kind of gives me chills. So anyway, and because I believe him, I believe him that he tells me that was not done by someone in the room. So
yeah.
Anyway, out of 10, what are we going to give this movie, the Conjuring, scale? 10. Go, Andrew.
So I probably wouldn't want to go out and just watch this again, but it's because of the nature of the film, not because I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, the quality of it, yeah.
Yeah. So as far as rewatchability, I would watch it again. I just don't want to watch it again. But I would.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So, like I said, I really enjoyed it. I think it's done well. I think it's acted really well. I don't feel like anything was over the top. And for once, like I said, every scare that was there, every jump scare, every little scare, I felt like was natural and it wasn't forced. And like you said, that the kids were decent actors as well. Mm-hmm. And that's hard to find. It's hard to find good child actors for especially horror movies. And so I think that was done very well. And I thought it was a great horror movie. And so if you like scary movies, definitely watch it. But I'm going to give it a 7.307.
Okay. I mean, I understand why. It's just it caught me off guard when you said it the first time. All right.
307.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, Sam.
You know what? I'm with Andrew. Don't really want to watch it again, but it's one of those that I think I would recommend this to my parents for a good horror movie, a good scare, right? I mean, it's not anything bad. It's just scary as snot. So I thought it was so well done, so well directed, and really done well. Let me give it 7.9307.
Okay, hold on. A 7.9307. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Let's keep that going. Again, I didn't hate the movie at all. It scared me, and I think which is what it's supposed to do. It legit made me kind of have some issues trying to go to sleep Friday night. Not gonna lie.
And you watched it during the day.
I did. I mean, it just stuck with me. It really stuck with me, and again, the parts that got me were the way more practical stuff. The part that like really gets me is the the mom's doing the whole clap and seek game.
Oh gosh.
And
never again.
Oh my gosh. Never ever. But I mean, when she goes into the wardrobe and she's like freaking out because she heard those claps in that closet. Mm-hmm. And then she's digging around looking for it, and then the daughter comes in from the other room and is like, "You're not even closed." Like that stuff gets me. Have you guys ever heard of these 2-sentence horror stories? You ever seen these?
I don't think so.
2-sentence horror stories. That's all they are. It's just 2 sentences, and they just, some of them just freaking get me. And they, the first one that came to, I began tucking him into bed, and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's someone on my bed."
Yeah, sorry. I went to a film festival, a short film festival in Winston-Salem, and one of the directors took that 2-sentence horror story and made that into a short film. And I had never heard the horror, the story before.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that freaked me out. It was freaky. Because it was so unexpected, especially since I hadn't heard it before. But yeah, I didn't know that's where that came from.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of these things, and like, I mean, I'm freaking getting chills just reading them as I'm scrolling through, looking for the one that it got me so much. Like, I was reading these in my office. My girlfriend asked why I was breathing so heavily. I wasn't. Working the night shift alone tonight, there is a face in the cellar staring at the security camera. Oh, gosh. I mean, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. There's a couple of these. Yeah, just do a Google search if you want to have a hard time going to sleep. Yeah, just read some of these stuff. I can't find the one that really got. Oh, here it is. Okay, here you go. You ready? Again, I'm literally getting chills just reading it. Okay, you ready? You hear your mom calling you into the kitchen. As you are heading down the stairs, you hear a whisper from the closet saying, "Don't go down there, honey. I heard it too." Ooh. Good Lord. I can't do it anymore. I'm killing the page. I got to stop it. All right. Oh, my gosh. Seriously.
I love it.
That stuff gets me. It really does. All right. Anyway, I'm going to play the outro music before I read any more scary stuff. Oh, my gosh. What are we doing next week? Next week we're doing Life After Death. No, Life After Beth is what we're doing. Life After Beth. It seems way more light and silly than this thing that we just watched. And I have no idea what it's about, except that that one girl is in it. That
Aubrey Plaza.
Yes, she's in it, and she's kind of awesome. So Aubrey Plaza and Dane DeHaan, who, well, let's see if he does a better acting job than he did in Valerian. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, poor guy.
Because it can't get any worse than that movie. What am I going to say? Oh. You know what? I am going to say this while I've got a few seconds here. Go to our website. We have a website again. It's under construction, but we have a website. Cheapseatreviews.com. It's going to look very different than the last time you saw it. We didn't have to, but we chose to switch some stuff around, and unfortunately that means that I'm having to manually upload every old episode. manually. So, of the 260, now 8, I've done 10. So, it takes...
You're getting there, buddy.
It takes
You're
some
getting
time. Sam's about to get drafted into this process. So, anyway, leave us a review on iTunes and like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Cheapseat Reviews. So, anyway, on behalf of Andrew and Sam, this is Sean saying thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.